Welcome back, my juicy, succulent little blueberries. It's your boy Crispy here, teaming up with Frank the Tank and Jedi Batman alongside his legendary Sheep Shagger squad, giving you the lowdown and everything we know when it comes to Hell Let Loose, so we can help you get better at the game and you can help keep the game alive. And we can also ensure that you don't end up in a game for the first time with a level 3 squad lead and get turned into fucking blueberry jam. Now, if you are joining this series of episodes for the very first time, then do be sure to check out episode 1 and episode 2 of the Blueberry Guide. I will put both links to those videos in my description below before you watch this video. Otherwise, you will be left feeling more confused than a chameleon in a bag of bloody Skittles. In this episode, we focus on the basics of offense. So, moving as a squad and how to see the enemy, how to move from cover to cover, how to dismantle enemy structures such as outposts and garrisons, as well as the basics in capturing the strong point as well. Now, once again, by no means am I, or any of the other lads for that matter, an expert when it comes to Hell Let Loose. We're just ordinary geezers that love the game. And we want to help you new boys and girls get better at this game, as believe it or not, we were once all soft and squishy little blueberries, just like you at some point. Now, if you're someone that's level 300 and you're an absolute god when it comes to Hell Let Loose, then you may not find much value in this video. However, I'm sure you know a lot more than myself. So if there is something I've missed that you think that can benefit new players, then do be sure to leave a comment below and help the boys out. If you're enjoying the episode so far, then give us a like, give us a subscribe, and help boost the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, without further delay, let's get stuck into it. Bosh.
Hey, one thing I thought I'd quickly show you is that you can change and customize your soldiers with different uniforms. So I highly recommend going to the barracks section on the home screen, pressing square or X if you're on Xbox, and then you'll come up with this screen. So L1 will bring you to your loadout section, so you can change your different loadouts if you've unlocked them, and R1 will allow you to change your appearance. So below that you've got preset 1 and preset 2. So I highly recommend having preset 1 as just your standard green camo, because most of the maps you play are going to be this uniform. However, if you're playing maps like Foy or Kharkov where they're snow maps, then I would recommend keeping preset 2 as your winter uniform. So that just means that it's going to give you a bit more extra protection and camouflage when you're on those maps, and hopefully you won't get shot as easily. However, on the flip side of this, make sure you remember to change your uniform back to whatever the map style is. Because if you leave your winter whites on and you're in the middle of Hurtgen Forest, you are going to stand out like a fucking Christmas tree. So, and then you're going to wonder why you're getting shot every time you spawn in. So if this is happening, chances are you've probably got your cricket whites on. So make sure you check that you've gone back to your green camo.
So last game, I briefly explained the rules of a warfare mode, which involves two teams controlling half the map and contesting over the middle point. Obviously, the winner is the team that controls the most points at the end of the timer, or if one team captures all 5 points, then they instantly win. The other game mode, however, that you will come across is called Offensive. Now, this mode has an attacking side and the defending side. The defending team will start by controlling the entire map, and they will have 5 points to defend. If they successfully hold off the attackers on a point for more than 30 minutes, then they instantly win. The defensive team have the joy of knowing where all 5 points along the map are going to be, so they can start planning and preparing to build defences to give them the best possible chance to defend the area. Now, some points are much harder to defend than others, so sometimes you might find that the commander or your squad leader tells you to actually tactically give up an area so that you can focus on the next point that may be easier to defend. The attackers, on the other hand, will have no idea where the next point is going to be. So it's a bit of a guessing game for them, and they will have to send out recon teams or try and find clues as to where the next point may be. But essentially, they'll keep attacking, and if they capture the point, they'll push the defenders back to the next section, and they win the game by taking all 5 points. So even if they capture 3 or 4 points and the defenders successfully hold the last point, then the defensive team will win. One of the things I regularly see in game, which drives me absolutely crazy, is the fact that offensive and warfare modes get mixed up by a lot of players. So as you can see here, the attacking team have just taken this point, and the second point has now revealed itself on the map. And I've noticed that new players will often carry on just hanging around this area, fighting for some time after the point has been captured. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be people that linger once a point is immediately captured, and there's still going to be a bit of fighting that goes on after it. But 10, 15, 20 minutes after it's been captured and people are still fighting around that area, it's absolutely pointless for both teams. So firstly, if you're defending, once this point is lost, there is absolutely no getting it back. I'm sorry to break your hearts, but it's time to move on. You need to get your asses straight back to the next point and start defending. Attackers, the same thing goes for you. There's no point killing off the defenders that are still there hanging around and being numpties trying to retake this point. You need to be up there helping the rest of the team try and take the second or third objective. So remember, boys, it's really important to check what game mode you're playing. If you're confused as to what you're playing, a couple of things you can do. You can just ask your squad and they'll let you know, or you can quickly check the map. And if it's offensive mode, you'll only ever see one strong point on the map. If it's warfare, then you'll always see two. So that's a real quick and easy way that you can quickly check what game mode you're playing. All right, that's enough of the boring map stuff out the way. Hopefully you're still with me and you haven't fallen asleep, or even worse, chosen to watch the best cat videos of 2023. So next things next. How do we know where we're getting shot from? So unlike COD or Battlefield, there's no kill cam in this game. So players often get frustrated with themselves and don't know where they're getting shot from. They can't see the enemy, and they end up, getting pissed off after 10 minutes of respawning and dying, and then never pick up the game again. And trust me, I felt exactly the same way when I picked this game up for the very first time. So, some quick cues as to where you can find where you're getting shot from. Firstly, I would look up and see if you've got any friendly teammates around you and where they're firing, where they're looking. That's generally going to give you a good idea of where the enemy may be. Secondly, if you're in cover, I would recommend bringing up your map and checking for any infantry pings that squad leaders may have put up, and that's another good indication of where the enemy may be coming. Thirdly, I would recommend investing in a high quality headset. It's really important to play this game with a good headset that you can listen out to those audio cues, such as where footsteps or gunfire is coming from. And just by changing that, you will immediately notice a difference, and your reaction to where shots are coming from is going to be significantly better. Finally, as an absolute last resort, if you have been hit and you're not downed, you can check to see where the shot came from, and you'll notice a bit of a red hit marker. That will give you a good indication of where the shot came from, so you can get to cover, bandage up, and then maybe try and find where that enemy is hiding. Okay, so let's talk squad movement and how to stay in as much cover as possible when trying to advance to the point. If we pull up the map here, you can see that we need to attack this strong point. Now, to the left of this section is a huge open field, and if we choose to run across this, then it's going to be easy pickings for any average player. However, if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is a darker shaded area of trees that pretty much goes all the way up to the point. So when moving as a squad, we want to try and stick to this cover to give us the best possible chance of getting as close to that strong point as we can. You'll notice that as we move through these tree lines, we're not completely bunching up together. We're close enough that if we get into a firefight, we can help each other out, but we're not too close that we can all be wiped out in one go by an accurate artillery round. Too many times I see new players bunching up and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. So a good squad lead, just like Jedi has done here, will place an outpost down along the route that they want you to attack from. This means that if you do go down, you can quickly spawn back in alongside your squad and continue pushing. If you notice, however, that there is no OP, don't be afraid to ask your squad leader to put one down. Trust me, the rest of the squad will also thank you for it. So how do we capture the point, I hear you ask? Well, boys, it's simple. It's exactly the same as defending, like I showed in my previous video. Basically, all you need is more manpower in the sector to start capturing. So most of the fighting is going to take place inside the black circle, which is the strong point, as this area boosts your value from 1 manpower to 3. But if we just keep sending players into the point to fight over, the enemy are just going to do exactly the same, and it creates a stalemate, and the defenders will basically just maintain the point. What we need to focus on first is slowing the defenders down from getting the point, or from getting to the point. And this is where dismantling enemy structures comes into play, so OPs and garrisons. This is pretty much what the game is built around. The enemy are likely to have several garrisons up around the point, which is going to allow them to get into that point and defend quickly. Now, if we focus our attention on taking out those garrisons and OPs, this is going to give us the upper hand, meaning that the enemy now need to come from further away, giving us a better chance of taking the point.
Oh, I just got minced. The MG's back
just
up.
traded with...
Got the OP under the slightest amount of cover.
Nice, mate.
Just get your nades out. and try to push in, boys. We're just gonna have to dominate them for a sec here.
Yeah, enemy supplies landed on my phone.
Yep, I'm just nading out. Sorry if I kill you, Jedi.
Yep, no worries. If anyone's got a satchel, now would be the time to spawn in with it. We can just slap some on the walls.
Yeah, we're capping,
Yep,
boys. We're capping.
EPC special there. Great work, guys. OP still clear. Just get your nades out as well. Nading over top of you, Crispy.
Jedi, open your map. Enemy.
So you can see a great OP there by Jedi that managed to get us in on that left flank to the point. So we started to cap for a brief moment there, and as I started firing around that corner, that was the enemy garrison there that you saw them all spawn at. They managed to knock a lot of us down, and you could see that we were starting to lose the point again. So now that we know where the enemy garrison is, we're going to try and focus our attack, take that garrison down, and then that's going to allow the rest of our team to start pouring into the point. Don't mind me while I accidentally kill Frankie here with an accidental underarm grenade. That was a complete mistake.
Fuck, who did I kill?
Yeah, just fight hard.
Thanks, Crispy.
Sorry, mate. I fucking underarmed it instead of... I'm taking the Gary down.
Yeah, great work, Crispy.
Nice work.
Push into that compound.
Okay, so the garrison's now been taken down on the point, which is going to start allowing the rest of the team to pour into that point from the OP or the airhead that went up, and the enemy defenders now have to come from at least 200 meters away from where that garrison was. So to dismantle it, you simply just go up to it and you can hold X or square, which will start dismantling it. I recommend laying down when you're doing this, because if there's any enemy soldiers nearby, they're going to see the garrison going red and they're going to immediately come to try and free it up. Now there's other ways that you can take them out as well, so you can hit them with rockets, you can hit them with a satchel as well, and if you want to learn how to do that, I highly recommend playing with Frank and the TFMC boys, because they fucking love a good say. And they're really, really good at taking garrisons down and everything in its path with those satchels. So yeah, just a few ways that you can take them down, boys. You can also hit them, you know, enemy armor crews can also take them down with tanks. Bombing runs can take them out. So there's a few ways in which those garrisons can get dismantled. Now when it comes to OPs, these are even easier for you boys. All you have to do is literally run straight up to it, and as soon as you get within a couple of meters of the OP, you'll immediately just destroy it and it will vanish. So you don't have to press anything, you don't have to do anything. You can blow them up with explosives, but you can also just, as I said, simply just run up to it and it will vanish.
And just secure that area.
So every faction has its own unique looking garrison. So what I'll do is I'll just pull up some photos of what each garrison looks like for each faction and just run you through a brief description of those. So we've got 3 garrisons here. So on the left hand side is the US, which is effectively ammo boxes around a table. You've got the German one in the middle there with jerry cans and oil barrels, and then the Soviet one on the right hand side, which is effectively just a table with a radio on. So I haven't included the British one at the moment just because I couldn't find a good enough photo of it. But effectively it's the same as the US, just with cups of tea on, because we do love a bloody good cup of tea. So yeah, get familiar with each faction's garrison so you know exactly what you're looking for. You can also listen out for them as well, and you'll hear them in their language or their accent talking over the radio, and that's a good way to determine whether it's an enemy one or a friendly one. And also you can check your map as well. If you're close to a garrison, obviously all friendly ones will show up on the map, but enemy ones won't. So if it's not showing on the map, chances are it's probably an enemy one. So in order to build a garrison, it requires supplies. So I'm not going to go into this too much because we will touch on this when we go into the more advanced side of defending and attacking. But basically, anywhere where there is a blue zone on the map, so where you're in control or your team's in control, it costs 50 supplies. So anybody in support can drop their 50 supplies, and your squad leader, who is the only one apart from the commander, can then build a garrison as long as the supplies are within 50 meters of that intended garrison. Now, garrisons themselves can't be placed close to each other within 200 meters, so there is a 200-meter radius around them, and there is a maximum of 8 garrisons per team. So if any more need to go up than 8, the commander can dismantle one that's not being used and a new one can be placed. Anywhere where there is a red zone where the enemy are in control, it costs significantly more supplies. So it's actually 100 supplies. So the only way to do this is to have two support guys drop their supplies, or call in a supply drop from the commander, or alternatively, you can drive a supply truck up to that point and deliver the supplies there. Well, boys, that concludes episode 3 of Basic Attacking. I hope this video has helped. Remember, move slowly and from cover to cover. Don't be Billy Big Bollocks and try and take on the entire enemy team through an open field. It's not going to end well for you. Don't hang around fighting with numpties once the point has been captured, particularly on offensive mode. Ask your squad leader to place down OPs regularly. Stick with your squad and focus on taking down enemy spawn points around the objective rather than just storming straight into the point. And lastly, make sure you change your fucking uniform back. Thanks for watching, boys. Thanks for all the support and the comments. I've really, really looking forward to hopefully helping you out. But yeah, if you have any more suggestions or if there's anything I've missed, then feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Next week, we'll look at some more advanced defensive tactics. But until then, I'll see you next time.